Good morning, everyone. Today, Ab and I are both going to be talking on three subjects, and the first one is hydraulic precertifications, which I will be talking to you about, and then we've got introduction to 2D hydraulic analysis, and the last subject would be SUDA software, and those two will be done by Ab. So we have there's 10 categories, which are hydraulics categories, and our group only reviews the first four. We used to do 10.5, which is scour, but now Bridge Division does that, the geotech section. So we have three basic requirements. You must be a licensed professional engineer. You must have at least 2 years experience in each of the categories that you apply for, and you must demonstrate how you meet the minimum requirement for each of the categories that you apply for. Now, the pre-certifications for hydraulics includes design of hydraulics and analysis for hydraulics and hydrology. It does not include checking or reviewing hydraulics, overseeing a hydraulics project, or organizing hydraulic sheets. So basically, in terms of pre-certifications, this means that the person that's applying for pre-certification has to be the one that does the design and the analysis of hydraulics personally. You probably can't read this, but I just wanted to show you, this is what we look at when we're reviewing pre-certifications. I just wanted to show you the parts. First, this shows us the project, and you can have up to 10 projects that you apply for. And with each project, you can include, yes, up at the top here, we show the categories of work that the applicant has applied for each of their projects. And you can have up to 10 categories in each of your projects. Down here we have the project general description, and this is basically where you just put your general description of your project. And then down here we have the category of work, and that's where you describe the work you've done. And I just wanted to kind of tell y'all about some common problems that we see. The first one, and the one that we see a lot, is just detail of work. We don't get enough description from applicants. So basically, we just want you to be descriptive and of the work that you've done for each of the categories, and include your methodologies. Like if you use software or certain equations, methods, just be sure and let us know. Describe the work you did and give us your methodology. Another problem we see is the work described is not in the correct category. For instance, let's say somebody describes work for culverts, but they put it in 10.1, which is hydrologic studies. They wouldn't get credit for that if they described it in that section. Now, if they had put that they calculated discharge for those culverts, then yes, they would get the credit for that. Another problem we see are insufficient years of experience. A lot of times the projects that they apply for, the projects that they apply for, they don't add up to 2 years. Maybe we should turn that one off. Okay. And another problem sometimes is that if they do have 2 years or more, they might have not gotten credit on some of their projects for one of their categories, and it doesn't add up to 2 years. And another problem we see is a lot of, this is the same sheet that I showed you earlier. A lot of applicants, they'll just put their descriptions here in the general description and leave these blank. And, you know, a lot of times they'll have a lot more categories listed, so their descriptions tend to be a little vague. So, I just recommend, please, you know, always use these spaces here. I know there's not a lot of room, but if you need to, you can supplement your descriptions here, up here. Another problem we see is too much abbreviation. I've gotten some that have every word abbreviated, and sometimes there's just some words that don't abbreviate well, and it's hard to read them, so those don't get credit a lot of times. If I can't read it, then, you know, can't give you credit for it. So please be sure. I mean, it's okay to abbreviate. Just be sure that you that we're able to read and understand what you're trying to describe, the work you're trying to describe. And the last thing we see a lot of is an applicant will state that they've reviewed the hydraulic design or analysis that was done by someone else. So you won't get credit for that. You must be the one that actually does the work, the design and the analysis. So use words like I designed, I analyzed, I modeled. And I want to leave you with one more tip. And this is, some of the applicants have gotten very innovative. And as you can see up here at the top, they have multiples of certain categories. And when they put in multiples like this, you're able to have more lines down here to describe. So if you feel you need more lines and you still have plenty of space up here, because remember you only get 10 slots per project, you can do this so that it'll give you some more room to describe your work. I just want to go through some of the examples, real quick. For 10.1.1 hydrologic studies, this includes rainfall, runoff determination, and channel routing. And the first example, what did the applicant do? They delineated 15 drainage areas and calculated peak flows. And how did they do it? Using the rational method. 10.2, basic hydraulic design. It includes storm drain systems, culverts, detention retention ponds. And what was the work they did? They analyzed the adequacy of 7 culvert designs. And how did they do it? They used HY8. 10.3, complex hydraulic design, includes hydraulic design of bridges over waterways, floodplain analysis. What did they do? They modeled the impact for 3 off-system bridge replacements. And how did they do it? They used HEC-RAS. So you kind of get the idea of what we're looking for. You know, the description of the work you did, along with the methodologies that you use. And the last one, 10.4.1, pump station hydraulics. This includes pump stations for conveyance of stormwaters. And the first example here is, what did they do? They sized the pump station for a roadway underpass, and they used HEC-RAS. And I just wanted to give you a quick update on pre-certification. So at this time, TxDOT, they're in the process of updating all of the pre-certification work categories. But for hydraulics specifically, they will be adding additional hydraulics categories, and they'll be based on some of the more common non-listed categories that we usually see in our hydraulics contracts. And we'll also be trying to update some of the language in the existing pre-certifications, just to make it a little clearer what we expect to see in each of the categories. And this will be coming out around summer of 2018. So you can expect more information then. All right, and now for the rest of it, we'll hand it over to Ab.